Hello everybody, JGC Anime here, and today we're going to be reviewing Overlord Season 4. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just hop right into this. So, what is the premise for Season 4? Kicking off from Season 3, Ainz now has a kingdom that he can rule, and he's trying to expand this kingdom to greater heights and do all these kind of cool things along with his subordinates. And to do that, he has to go around and complete tasks and slowly conquer things. And that is basically the majority of the season. Except, yeah. So, going into some spoiler-free thoughts, this season was really interesting. Like, this was the first season I hadn't had like a rewatch of. Like, every other season I've been rewatching to do these reviews. This is the first season where I haven't watched it before. This is my first time going into it. And I do have a few interesting thoughts, though they're not like massive thoughts. They're just things I noticed while I was watching. So one of the things I noticed is the weird pronunciations in the English dub. I watch this show dubbed. I don't watch everything dubbed, but this is one of those shows I have watched dubbed, and I plan to continue watching dubbed because that's what I started with, and so that's what I'm used to. But for some reason in this season of the dub, a lot of weird pronunciations were occurring. Like, sometimes characters were referring to Albedo as Albedo, and there's a few other ones that I can't really think of at the moment, but I know that they were mispronounced, and all I could think is, why are you mispronouncing this? Why? And it was kind of weird. I don't know why they were mispronouncing things, but whatever. That was a slight kind of gripe I had, that sometimes it would break the illusion of the episode. It kind of reminded me of when I was watching the Arifureta dub, where for some reason they pronounce mana as mana, and I know that's another way to pronounce it, but with the way it's spelled, I prefer to pronounce it as mana. So seeing it be pronounced as mana, it gets on my nerves so much. And the same thing happened here, where whenever a character's name was mispronounced or something else was mispronounced, it always got on my nerves. It always irritated me. But yeah, whatever. We'll move past that for now. One thing I definitely find intriguing about the season was I didn't really love it or hate it. It was like this weird mix where even though there wasn't anything special to me, like it didn't grab me beyond a shadow of doubt. It wasn't like I have to watch every new episode. Oh, this is so good. It didn't feel like that. However, when I was watching, I was incredibly intrigued. Like, when I was watching, I did want to see what happened next. And I was very curious throughout the entire season. To the point that when the season ended, I was actually upset it ended because I was very curious to see where the story was going. And yeah, all the characters for the most part are absolutely great in this season. The comedy, as per like the other seasons, was pretty solid. Nothing like too groundbreaking or anything like that. No Eminence and Shadow levels of I can't stop laughing, but it's fun. It's very fun, especially the comedy parts. They are very fun. There are some moments that are a little sad to me, but they're not like groundbreaking. Like, I truly understand why those things happened, and I'm perfectly fine with accepting them that way. But yeah, we can talk about that in the spoiler section. So yeah, we're just gonna hop right into that. So here is a timestamp to the spoiler section's ending. If you have seen Overlord Season 4, I'd recommend sticking around to hear my thoughts. But if you haven't seen Overlord Season 4, I'd recommend skipping to the end so you don't have to get spoilers. But again, if you have stuck around, go ahead and stick here if you want to, because I like hearing people's thoughts and just them hearing my opinion. So yeah, we're gonna count down from 5. We're gonna enter the spoiler section. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so one of the things that kind of made me a bit upset, but I perfectly understand why they did it, is the whole situation with Princess Renaer and Climb. Climb is one of those characters where I really wanted to maybe see him come up and face Ainz and actually stand on pretty solid footing against him, but his story, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is how it is, but it feels like it's at its end, where he is now serving under Ainz with Princess Renaer, who has like sold her soul to the devil, I guess you could kind of say, where she decided to give her allegiance to Ainz as a way of getting her ends met, where she wants to be stuck with Climb forever. And I feel really bad for Climb because he didn't want any of this. This is just how she wanted things. Like, this is all stuff Princess Renaer wanted. So I feel a bit bad for him. But in the end, that's just how it is. Life isn't fair, and I do like the fact that Overlord doesn't always try to paint itself in a positive light. I do like that it takes more dark turns at times. And yeah. A lot of interesting stuff also really popped up this season that I really liked, such as the introduction of a player character. Like, there's this dragon that I can't remember its name, but there's like this dragon that was controlling the suit of armor and was curious to find out if Ainz was as powerful as he was and if he was a player that he could fight. And this is the first time Overlord has ever done this. It's actually managed to trick me when Ainz was fighting against this guy in like the suit of armor and that he was controlling, and I actually thought it was Ainz fighting him. So when it was revealed that it was Pandora's actor, I was actually like blown away. I was just like, why didn't I see that coming? It was, I did not see it coming at all. It was honestly an amazing surprise to me. I just did not see it coming, and I thought it was really clever because it hides Ainz's true power, and it was so good, and I honestly didn't see it coming. I'm also pretty sad for Brain, who I'm pretty sure is dead after facing against Crocitus. So I think he's dead, although who knows what they might do with the body, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. And I do feel bad for him. Like, there was a lot of death definitely in this season, as these characters we've grown to know have all slowly been like building up to their own little storylines. The king, as well as the other prince who was with the king, whose name I can't remember right now. They are both dead, and the whole kingdom that they ruled over, along with Princess Renair, is just gone. It's all finished. It's completely destroyed. And yeah, I fully accept it. It's rough, but I accept it. And man, this season, as I mentioned, has just been plain interesting. Like, I was expecting maybe a lot more conquest, but for what they did complete in this season, it was really intriguing. And while I wasn't like massively into it in a, oh my gosh, I want to see what happens way, as I mentioned earlier, I was definitely intrigued. Like, the whole time I was wondering how things were going to play out. And the way it ends definitely provides an idea for as a conclusion, as well as a few other options that have presented themselves. And I really want to see what happens next. So I'm very looking forward to that. Overall, though, I don't really have too many complaints about this season. It's not perfect in any way, but I definitely had a good time. I definitely enjoyed myself, though I wouldn't say to the extent of like Danmachi Season 4 that I just finished watching last week. I believe that's when this review is coming out. I believe the Danmachi review came out the week before this review. It was honestly such an intense season. I was so happy watching it. This one, I enjoyed it. I was very intrigued with what was going to happen, but I wouldn't really call it the best thing ever. It was kind of just like another season of Overlord where I enjoyed it, but in the end, it's not like my favorite anime ever. It's definitely an enjoyable anime though, and I'm very happy to have sat down and watched Season 4. There is one thing I could definitely claim for Season 4 over all the other seasons though, and that is its opening. Oh my lord. I thought Season 3's opening was fantastic, like the best of the three, but that Season 4's opening just comes in, it's just like, it's such a different tone, yet fits so well, and I love that opening so much. I've listened to it so many times on its own. It is such a good opening. I love it so much. This ending is fine. I don't really care much about the endings very often, unless it like genuinely grabs me and makes me think it's really interesting. Not interesting, but like, it's catchy. If it's catchy, then yeah, I'll listen to the ending, but if it's just like a chill, relaxed, calm vibe ending, or in Overlord's case, kind of dramatic, but still chill, it's fine. It suits its purpose. It's there. I could listen to it a few times, but its opening definitely stole the show in terms of songs. It was just so good. It was so freaking good. I really like listening to it. I literally bop my head literally anytime it comes on. Every single episode. You couldn't see it because I don't like record myself doing these or anything, but like every single time I was watching a new episode and the opening came on, I just started bopping to it. Like, I just started dancing. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself with those openings. Definitely one of the big highlights of the 4th season that I really liked. And overall, this season was so solid. I don't know what else to say than I thoroughly enjoyed it, but not enough to the point that I would give it a super high rating. Like, it was good. It was very good, but not like utterly, superly, fantastically good. It was just the right amount to keep me entertained without making me lose interest. And that's what I really just kind of expect from Overlord. I don't expect anything grandiose, like beyond insane. I expect stuff that's just in my interest zone. And while the anime doesn't have my entire interest, it definitely keeps me interested. And that's all an anime really needs to do for me to enjoy it. I don't need it to be some grandiose anime that keeps me invested on every single little thing. All I need in order to stay entertained is an anime that just grabs my interest, and this season definitely did that, as I'm looking very much forward to whatever Overlord pushes out next. So Yeah. So, with that being said, we're at the conclusion of this video, and what are my final thoughts? I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's the best anime to ever exist for a fourth season, but it was definitely a very enjoyable one, and I look very much forward to seeing what happens next. And overall, I just think I had a pretty solid time. There are a few things here and there that I find a bit weird. Again, I mentioned this before, the weird pronunciations about some of the things, I just couldn't get past that sometimes. It definitely was distracting. I definitely wish that there was less of those weird pronunciations that they do, but it didn't really like bother my viewing experience once they were over. Like once they were over, I believe they stopped really mispronouncing things like halfway through the season with the English dub, and once they stopped doing those mispronunciations, I was able to get past it pretty quickly. It was definitely the one biggest gripe for me with the English dub, but nah, most people watch this subbed, so it's not exactly a fair comparison, but yeah. All in all, I had a decent time with this anime, and I did like it a lot, so with all this being said, I'd like to give Overlord Season 4 a 7 out of 10. It kept me entertained, just as I had hoped it would, and while I am grasping for more, I wouldn't say it's like the biggest event in the world. Like, if there is more, I'm happy with it. If there isn't, I can wait. And if nothing else comes, I'm fine with that. It's just a satisfactory anime that kept my interest, just as I was hoping it would, so yeah. That's all I have to say, so thank you all for watching. If you're new to the JGC Anime channel, don't forget to subscribe. I also have a new anime fix to the channel. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all around. Peace!